Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're here to talk about life after release 12. Why isn't reporting any better? My name is Shannon Krebs, and I'm here with Danny Nguyen. We're in the Oracle Business and Development Strategy team here at Insight. A few points to talk about before we get started today. The first thing is this presentation is one way, so we can't hear any of the comments you might make. Also, you can minimize the GoToMeeting panel by clicking on the red arrow button. We are going to allow about 40 minutes for this presentation today, so we don't have time for Q&A on this presentation, but if there are questions you have afterwards, you're always welcome to send us a message and we'll respond back to actually everybody with all the questions included. So let's get started with what we're talking about. The plan for today, our big agenda, is to talk about the product changes and updates in Release 12, focusing on reporting, those reporting options that are available, and we're going to spend a little bit of time focusing on Discoverer as well as ADI. We're going to talk about how to satisfy your users after the upgrade when it comes to getting your data, and also secrets on how you can access your migrated Release 12 data across your financial modules and really across any module within the Oracle E-Business Suite you want to be able to see. So, for a lot of folks out there, we're all talking about Release 12. You're either there already or you're getting there. There are people that are doing fresh implementations. We found this was more often the case with people that were going to R12 when it first came out way back in 2007, 2008, and they were doing big changes like implementing multi-org access control, changing their corporate chart of accounts. So they were really doing fresh implementations. These days, we find a lot of people are going for standard upgrades, and some of them are even just fresh technical upgrades. They're not really changing a lot of the functionality. But either way, you are going to Release 12, and there's some new things that we think are really useful to know about regarding how you can go ahead and access your information that's out there. So the really first thing we were going to do is we wanted to ask everybody a poll. We're going to try polling this time about where you are with Release 12. So I'm going to launch a first poll to see for you, and it's just asking you if you guys are on Release 12 now. I'm going to give it a few more seconds. I'm definitely seeing some things come in. So, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and close this down in 3, 2, 1. Great. So actually that was interesting. It looks like we have about 34% of the people are already on Release 12 while 66% of the people are not. That's actually pretty interesting. We tend to find that's about right, about a 40 to 60 mix of people on Release 12 or 11i and on 12. So you guys are right in line with the kinds of results we've been seeing. Interesting. So that's good. It means a lot of you are looking to see what's going to be new and out there moving forward. So if we first talk about the reporting options that were available to you in 11i, you can kind of look at this as broken down into 3 main areas. If we start on the bottom, what you'll have are a lot of your standard reports that are available by running the concurrent manager. These were things that are seeded with the system. They're often static, kind of give you some basic information out of Oracle. There was also a reporting tool called RxI that was developed by the assets team in order to allow people to do some more detailed reporting or allow people to really configure their own requests. And RxI reporting is actually available for the other modules, but was really developed for assets, and so that's where we've seen a lot of that use. There was also XML Publisher that was available in 11i, and XML Publisher was used really to help make your reports look prettier. So there are XML templates that can allow you to, instead of just having that report look like a an old dot matrix report, look like a PDF that can be pretty, or XML or a Word doc. There was also Reports Manager and ADI, and really the client-based ADI allowed you to create reports and output those files into a database repository where users could use HTML pages to view those reports at any time. We also have good old FSGs, Financial Statement Generator, and that's really a matter of having row sets, column sets, and content sets for getting your financial data together, and that's really what's used for creating your Oracle financial statements, as well as Oracle custom reports that could be used out there. Then for the main ad hoc inquiry tool, there was Discover on 10G or 11G. 10G is expired now, so our support is no longer available for that, so you should all probably be on 11G by now. And that was really the main ad hoc inquiry tool where you're pretty much starting from scratch each time to create your reports. And then finally, there's OBIEE, the Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition. And there's content for 11i. There's also Enterprise, which allows you to create your additional content you might want, but there's a lot of packaged analytics that are available. OBIEE is not on the same release as Oracle, or the Oracle applications, so you can actually you take advantage of the latest releases for OBIEE that applies to content in 11i. Now, in release 12, if we look again, a lot of those standard reports are out there, or a lot of the things are still the same. So we still have Oracle standard reports, and they're still RxI. Those are run through the concurrent manager, or can sometimes be published into OBIEE. One of the big changes, though, is that we've changed the name from XML Publisher to BI Publisher for business intelligence. And one of the cool things with Release 12 is they really try to change a lot of those standard reports to be more be formatted in a more pleasing manner. So for example, the AP Invoices on Hold report is now being used with BI Publisher. So a lot of the reports just look a lot nicer out there. I think the goal was to do all of them, and they haven't quite hit all of them, but you can use it for formatting for what hasn't been done. Some of the biggest changes are with Report Manager and ADI. We're going to talk about that on the next slide. There's also now there's still custom reports, and there's also the Fusion Accounting Hub. So that's something where you can have a coexistent system with Oracle to do some of your financial reporting using the Fusion Accounting Hub to gather that information. And then, of course, there's OBIEE, so that's still available, and now we've got Release 12 content for that. However, one of the main things that we actually found was that people, regardless if you're on 11i or for those on Release 12, you're still taking a lot of this content and publishing it out to Excel. And you're doing that because you're just struggling to access all the information you need in one place. So a lot of times people will export it to Excel, export it to an Access database, and then use that to kind of slice and dice the data that they need. So some of the main changes there are regarding ADI and Report Manager. And that is that in Release 12, ADI is no longer used for publishing. All publishing is done through the Reports Manager. And ADI has been replaced by Web ADI for journal uploads. So the ADI toolbar is not there anymore for your formatting. Really, Web ADI is just what you use for journal uploads. And that has been backported, so you can use that in 11i for your uploads that are there. All your reports are now published using BI Publisher for that. And some of the kind of downsides is the account analysis is really only available via Reports Manager, and the drill down only works for FSGs in Report Manager. So if you try to get drill down from anything else, that's not going to be available. The Reports Manager repository really needs to be maintained and archived, so this is going to be a bit of a maintenance issue where you just need to make sure that you're managing all the content that's created out there, because those files can actually get large quite quickly because you're actually saving these static documents each time. And that point-in-time reports can be accessed directly from the Oracle menu, so they have made it available that you could take some reports, put them up there, and grab them down from Oracle. Some of the changes in Discover are that you have to keep in mind that your in-user layer isn't going to automatically work for Release 12. And you have to think about that because there are a lot of table changes that occurred from 11i to Release 12. There are new things like invoice lines available and accounts payable. The whole trading community architecture layer is there, which is different in terms of using new suppliers. So a lot of those reports have to be rewritten for Release 12. The extended support for 10G ended in December 2011, and 11G is the current release that's available. You know, we get a lot of questions right now about Discover. Is it still part of the Business Suite? The answer is yes. It's definitely covered by the EBS lifetime support policies. So you don't need to be worried that Discover is going away. It will be there and it will be supported. But one of the things to keep in mind is that there's not a lot of new development and effort going on for that. Most R&D is focused on OBIEE, and any new information in Discover is really focusing on middleware integration. So how can I take Discover reports and publish them into OBIEE? So what we found is that users actually really still want to be able to access the information. They want information on demand. They want to be able to see something, and they want to see it in real time. They need more than just transaction listings and static reports. They're looking for easy and fast access to key information all in one place. They don't want to have to go through multiple modules or multiple responsibilities to see things. A lot of it is about independence and ownership. People want to actually know that they can get access to their information without having to go somebody else, which really allows them to own that and be responsible for it. So things like easy reporting on summary and consolidated balances is important, along with drill down to supporting information. Sometimes drill down doesn't necessarily mean just drilling down from GL to accounts payable. It could be drilling from purchasing to an accounts payable bit of information, or from an invoice to something in projects. So drill down and across is key. And really real time overall is what's really important. So I'm going to turn this over to Danny now, who is going to go ahead and start talking about how we can get more answers and less reports. Here you go, Danny.
Can you pass control as well, Shannon?
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, not a problem. So what Shannon was really talking about in terms of what a user wants is this, the objective we have on screen here. They're just looking for more answers and less report. What happens time and time again, as Shannon was alluding to earlier, is folks are just dumping data into Excel, and Excel is becoming the default tool to do all your answering. What if the user can do all that in a secure environment while working with their data in real time? That's what I want to talk about coming up here. Shannon, can you pass the control?
I'm sorry, I don't know why that's not. Let me try. Danny, panelist. Oh, here we go. Go for it. Apologies, Danny.
All right, not a problem. Thank you. So yes, so there are tons of mousetraps out there, or reporting product. There are things that claim to be super easy, and there are things that are very complicated. But on one end of the spectrum is you have Excel plugin products. They're primarily GL driven. And on the other end is the OBIEE solution, and they have its own very level of complexity. Can you do it with a single product? Most likely you can. But unfortunately, we all live with limited resources. This is a quote directly from a customer of ours. All right, so we can move on here. Where Insight fits is right in the middle, and to present you our version of a better mousetrap, these are the three areas I want to cover. The product is faster, it's easier, and overall give you a better value in terms of your reporting solution, as well as empowering your user to get more answers. Let's focus on that for a bit here. So in terms of faster, Insight is a real-time product. It connects directly to your Oracle system. It installs in just about an hour, and you're ready to go. Another key reason why Insight is fast to deploy is it comes pre-built. And it's pre-built for Oracle Financials, as well as a platform for you to build whatever you want. Our solution is built for the user in mind. Right? It is actually easy to use. It's non-technical. Even our designer platform is quite easy to use as well. What that allows users to do is go out there and get answers on their own. From an IT perspective, it allows IT personnel to quickly compile the information and deploy that to user in a matter of hours and not weeks and months. Overall, the real value of any solution is the ability for the user to get greater productivity out of the solution. Okay. All right, so before I kind of talk about the product itself, let's talk about KISS. And when I was preparing this presentation, I didn't know that the Navy created this terminology back in the 60s. Super simple. System works best if they are kept simple. That's one of the big reasons why it takes Insight so little time to implement and deploy. So let's talk about things that are a bit more complex. On the left side, you have your traditional Discover, multi-parts, moving parts, things that you have to manage. On the other end, just a quick screenshot of OBIE. Again, both has a lot of moving parts, a lot of folks to manage the solution. Where Insight fits, very, very straightforward. This is a very typical deployment of Oracle. 3 environments, production, UAT, and test. Within each environment, you have its own schema. The only requirement for Insight is a single custom schema, and that schema points to multiple databases. Our schema itself is only a repository. There's no data warehouse, no ETL, nothing involving any moving parts. Queries are ran by the Insight client in real time. Right. All right, so saying that, just to recap on the faster part, because it installs in 1 hour, real-time inquiries, hundreds of pre-built reports, is super, super fast to deploy, configure, and use. Now, I'm going to get ready to show you software. I am going to show you software directly out of the box. Right? This is the software as it is after the 1 hour install. So bear with me, I'm going to hop over to software now. All right, so this is the power user. In a bit, Shannon is going to show you how your user would use Insight on a regular basis. The way the software is packaged, oh, Shannon, I lost control.
Do you need the map? I know, I think you did. Hold on. There we go.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All right. So the way the software is actually packaged and the way that we accelerate deployment of Insight really quick for your finance user is because it's practically pre-built. Years ago, we started with GL, and then we added payables, receivables. Today, we have the financial suite cover. Okay? This designer tab is what you use to build custom templates over anything Oracle, whether it's custom or not. Okay? The software is packaged via templates. So in each module we have here, you see a series of templates. Right? And what a template is designed to do, it is a starting point for a user to build from. In many solutions out there, you see, we package our solution with hundreds of reports. We don't. We package it via these few templates. From there, they spawn reports. Let me show you quickly our AP invoice distribution template. And give a second for that to load up. Behind the scenes of each one of these templates, and where all of our hard work and your hard work might be deployed at, is that it's already done in advance for you. This particular template contains a series of AP tables, as you see here. What's neat as well is as I scroll down, each template also crosses modules. So here you have GL, you have inventory, you have procurement, receiving. The basic idea is a user will just pick and choose what they want to see. From there, they use the Insight user interface you see here to build or construct the reports they want to use right away. Each template comes with a predefined set of filters on top for your parameters, as well as columns at the bottom here. So quickly, let's see how a user would use a template to build a general inquiry ad hoc report. So in the vendor filter box, I'm going to click on the list of values, come out here. I'm going to grab just a few vendors. Let's grab those 3, bring it over. That is my selection. Our filter box themselves are a bit more powerful. You can do things like ranges, greater than, less than, cherry pick, wildcards. All of that is possible. Okay? From there, the columns here will determine the level of details. Let me kind of narrow this down to just January. And if you notice here, this date field, it automatically converts into a date format or a calendar. Again, really trying to make it as easy as possible for the end user. All right. And then we're just going to grab a through range. Bear with me for one moment. And let's just go ahead and grab September 11th. No, let's not do that. Let's do 18. Okay. All right, so what this is doing from a technology perspective is based on these 3 vendors, this date range, these set of columns for the level of detail, Insight dynamically generates SQL statement. Right? This is a SQL statement that is used when I hit run to go out into Oracle database to bring the information right back on screen. They are dynamic in nature. What that really means is if I want to summarize my information here to the, let's say, the vendor name, what that SQL statement then does is just really streams it down to make it super, super simple. So go ahead and remove out some of the fields that I don't want to see. Simply do a right click. Let's do that. And let's go ahead and do the currency. I'm going to remove all my key effect field as well. And there's a mechanism to remove all of them at once. I'm just taking a scenic route here. Notice now the SQL statement is super, super simple, because now I'm summarizing all the information into or to the vendor level. As I want to see more detail, I'm coming out here, and I'm simply just dragging and dropping what I want to see. So for vendor name, I like to see the vendor number, invoice number, perhaps the company from my key effects field, and maybe the PO number. I might want to do some formatting and some grouping of data. Here I want to group the information on the vendor name, add a bit of formatting. All right, and bear with me, almost there. Little border line, all right, that should do it. Hit run, and now I have a subtotal report for each of my vendors. From here, I can quickly add additional formatting. I call these piano lines. Save the report, and then publish the report to other users. Okay. Built into the software also are pre-built drills. We call them links. If I do a right-click on my PO number, I can drill from an AP report across over to purchasing. That's the results there. One of the key things about Insight is the constant interacting of the information on screen by user. There's no back and forth. I've seen user in Oracle drill 4 or 5 times down just to grab one bit of record. With here, I can change my parameters on the fly. I can summarize and show different level of details as I'm working with my information. I can quickly add formatting. And should you ever need to, there's only a one-click to Excel. And what's important here is when we do export to Excel, all the colors, all the formatting, things that you would typically do in Excel can be done in advance in Insight, and the exporting process only export a solution or a report that's complete. All that additional effort you typically do in Excel can be automated in advance. Just that automation will streamline your month-end, will save you 2-3 days on average. Now, that's fundamentally how a template works. User would then pick and choose what they want to see on the fly, build the report, save it, and publish, or just use the report for general inquiries, ad hoc reporting, as well as formal reporting. For content outside of our core financial pre-built solution, user would use our Designer Express module to go out there and build whatever they want. I'm going to quickly show you one that I built, actually two. I will show you one over order management. It is a module we're working on. But fundamentally, what this order management report is doing, let's grab the detail. To me, this one is a bit more basic. The back end of this particular report contains just two standard views, as well as the item master. You can see here that I've added formatting. And this is just an order line. Oh, I should put an order number there. Let me start with the order summary so I can get some summary information. All right. This particular summary report has the exact same 2 views and a table. Then I can draw from here over to either the AR for invoices or order detail. What you might notice right away is the feature functionality that I was using in payables, in purchasing, are the exact same button clicks that the user would use when they run custom reports. Okay. One that's a bit more complicated. I'll show you one a bit more complicated. Bear with me. Let me grab the second one here. And this one is just to show you that our Designer product can become a bit more complicated. This one is over projects. It does contain about 17, 18 tables, different types of join tables multiple times. All right. And again, you would use this exactly how you would use any Insight template or report. These reports are way faster to build than a comparable Discover report, and the publishing of that information is also instantaneous. For any change to a report, it's quickly coming out here and just dragging and dropping the fields you want to see without having the back and forth of going to IT to add a field. User can just do that on their own. All right? Shannon, can you flip the slide, please?
Yep, here we go.
All right, so that was the software directly out of the box. Just to recap real quick, our pre-built solution enables end user to work with financial modules right away. There's no building necessary. With the designer module, IT users can go out there and quickly build custom templates over anything Oracle, publish that to their end users, and they can use that right away as well. It's just a super fast tool, a lot easier, more GUI-driven, drag and drop, to build templates on the fly. Okay. Shannon, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Sure, sounds good. So thanks, Danny. And the idea behind that little bubble there was to ask you all if you thought that looked easy. So we're going to actually do another quick poll real quick and share it out to you to just say, hey, what do you think? Did this look good or not? Oh, pretty good. We're getting a really good response. I'll go ahead and close this down in about 3, 2, 1. Not bad. Pretty good. So we had a few more people, a few last-minute votes are coming through. Great. So we actually had about 80% of the people vote, and 93% of you actually thought it looked pretty easy to use. So good job, Danny. Good job making it look nice and easy, which we both know it is. So let's go into the next part here, which is talking about how users actually deal with things you've already built. So what I'm going to do is just show you some pre-built content using our tool called Console. And the idea behind Console is that your users could access this information directly. Instead of you having to send information to your users, they would look at a report, they would have a question about that report, and then go back to you on that, and you'd have to respond to that question, and a whole back and forth that can often occur. We've learned that users feel much more empowered and have better access to information when they can just do it themselves. So for example, this might be a standard budget monitoring report that would be done by account. And this could have been something that was an FSG you had today. As a matter of fact, your hierarchy here could have been built from an FSG. We actually allow import for that into Oracle. And like Danny said, our fields here can be quite flexible in terms of what a user might have. They might just want to pull in a few companies and rerun that report, or they might want to do it for a range of departments. Maybe I want only department 100 through 300. So they can go through and start to see their information. If they wanted to see May instead of June, they could do that instead. Or even if they wanted to see May and June, they could pull that information up. So all the information is coming back to them in real time. They can access it directly, and they're seeing exactly what's in your system. You don't have to wait for an update from Oracle. Everything you're looking at is exactly what is reflected. Now in this case, I've got some conditional formatting to let me know whenever I have a budget that's more than 35%, highlight that to me so I can see what's going on. And again, your user now could go through and say, well, I want to see what's the spend by department. Is there one department that's causing me to be over budget? And it looks like there is. So I could continue to drill and say, well, show me the transactions that are making up that spend. In this case, it's all coming from AP. I could drill down farther to see, well, what are those transactions that are in AP? I could also drill to the subledger accounting layer as well if that's something I'm interested in seeing. And in this case, I can see that I've got these 5 invoices coming in, but one of them is really large. So I want to know what's going on with this $50,000 invoice. So I could jump over to AP and look at it, or I could even go to purchasing if there were a purchase order there I wanted to review. And now I've actually left general ledger and I'm in accounts payable. But I didn't have to switch my responsibilities. I didn't have to drill down by transaction by transaction by transaction. I'm seeing one thing here, and I could say, well, is this invoice typical for this period of time? I could remove the invoice number, requery my invoice, and now see that actually, I am spending $50,000 every month. So it might lead me to believe that perhaps my distributions are incorrect, and maybe I want to fix those or find out what's going on with them. It could be I haven't budgeted for it appropriately, or maybe I just want to take a look at the scanned image that's out there to make sure the invoice details are what I'm expecting. We can go ahead and link to any document repository you have for invoice images. So if you're using those for attachment paper clips, we can also link to websites or contracts, anything that you'd be interested in being able to get access to. And just like Danny said before, for anything that we have, your user can take the information and export it out to Excel or to PDF. And if there are multiple tabs, I could have exported all of those tabs out to a single worksheet to look at it. So fully formatted. The difference now is that you're now dealing with static data. So your users could take this information and change it. That's where you start to have issues with accountability. We're a real believer that letting your users have access to the information online, where it's read-only, they're really getting to know everything that's there and what's correct. So again, just to summarize on that, you really enable your end users to get access to your information. It allows for greater productivity. There's less time that's going to be wasted going back and forth to really get what should be simple questions answered immediately. So just to kind of recap, can't I always do what I've always done? Well, you certainly can. But when you upgrade, I think one of the advantages of doing an upgrade is to take advantage of some of those changes that are out there. It's a real opportunity within your organization to do something new and different. A nice thing to note as well is Insight actually can work over 11i as well as Release 12. So we have a lot of people that will use Insight as part of that upgrade process, where they can run an inquiry in 11i, see the results, and then run it in an R12 test instance, and they can actually start to track to see if the information is as they expect it. And we've had quite a few customers that have actually found things like data migration issues during their upgrade by having their users actually run information there, because your users are going to be more familiar with what the information should contain. Or on a technical side, we might know if an import worked properly or not, but we don't always know about the data. So we feel at Insight we can really help you with your reporting and replace the many different things you might be doing now, and still yet be complementary to something like an OBIEE, where you might be doing more higher level reports, more dashboard type reports, and such at an executive level. Insight's really meant for a transactional and operational end user tool to give those people access to information right away. So why should you think about it as part of your move to R12? So like I said before, we provide you content for 11i as well as Release 12. It can really avoid the need to rewrite all of your reports again in Discoverer. You don't need to learn BI Publisher or Enterprise Edition to get the nice formatting. That's something we'll do automatically for you. You don't have to worry about challenges with Report Manager, because a lot of those things are changing. We'll really bring your FSG row sets to life. When we talk to people who move to the Insight, they often want to bring over all their FSGs. And when we start talking with them about it, it turns out they usually bring over just a few and then create everything at Insight. Or they're really able to just utilize the ones that were key and then again continue to do things at Insight. So not having to hassle with FSGs can be a real lifesaver as well. You've got rapid access to all your migrated Release 12 data across your financial modules, but really across all of the modules if you chose to use Designer to access any other key information. There's real-time ad hoc inquiries without using the Fusion Accounting Hub. So again, we're going to give you real-time access. We like to say you can avoid your Excel anarchy where everybody goes off and does things on their own. And we all have been to those meetings where people will show up with the same report with different time and date stamps or maybe different bits of information. And there's a big argument about who's right. Who's right is the one who's getting the information directly from the system in real time. And we also have some great predefined reporting for subledger accounting. So within Oracle and Release 12, SLA is a great new thing, and we've done a lot of presentations on that around. One of the things we offer that you can't get out of Oracle is access to SLA details where you can look at multi-ledger and multi-module all at the same time. We just wanted to just tell you quickly about what success can look like. We have a corporation we work with, Azra Housing Group, and they really saw business benefits starting from day one. They were able to replace all their FSG and Discover reports. They use Insight as an inquiry tool for on-the-fly questions. So instead of users having to go in and ask people things, they're actually able to do all their own invoice inquiries, receipts information, budgeting information all on their own for just quick questions instead of writing a report. They got increased visibility into the business overnight. As soon as Insight was installed, they were able to understand and access the information right away. They often say that you can't put value on employee and customer satisfaction, and they found their employees were much happier with using Oracle within their system. In terms of things like return on investment, they predict they got their money back multiple times just in the first year. So within that first year of using Insight, they already recouped their investment in the product. And one big thing as well is their business users were able to perceive Oracle in a much better light. Often people will grumble about, oh, I hate Oracle. And it's really an unfair thing about it. They just really have discomfort with accessing the system or learning the navigation. But this really made people much happier with the power of what the product can do for you. And finance became more of a high-value function. It was able to really contribute to the organization as opposed to just constantly answering questions and writing reports. We also think, don't take our word for it, ask our customers. If any of you are going to be out at Open World, please come visit us. We're at booth 3630 in Moscone. Daniel will be there, and he can answer anything you guys might need. He'd be happy to pull up things and show them to you. He can also talk to you about doing things like a free trial, which is no problem at all. We'd actually encourage people to do that. But also, please stop by and talk to our customers, because they're always happy to chat. We had one customer once take over our booth for a little bit, and we just let him do all the talking. It was a lot of fun. So, are you ready to plug in? Is this something you guys might be interested in? So what we thought is we do one last little poll, and we don't have to share the results of here. But we thought if you're interested in giving Insight Unlimited a try, it's a free trial. It's something we're able to do. It installs in an hour, and people can be up and running. Go ahead and just let us know about it. Anyway, we hope you are doing well, and we thank you so much for your time today. And that is really it. So I'll go ahead and let you guys finish up the poll here, but that's all we've got. So thank you so much for joining us today. Have a good one.